You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines: 19-year-old fake KAKOMA KANGANJA nabbed. COVID-19 continues to claim lives as the country records 14 COVID-19 deaths in 24 hours. 3 juveniles accused of killing a KABULONGA boy's pupil appear in court. And in international news, 20,000 Ethiopian refugees missing in Tigray, UN reports. And in sports news, the English Football League records 4 positive COVID-19 cases in the latest round of testing. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television for non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage. Zambia needs Camnet television for national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia. Watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on GoTV and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga. Police in Lusaka have charged and arrested a 19-year-old suspect identified as Aaron Luyako, age 19, for impersonating Inspector General of Police KAKOMA KANGANJA and obtaining money by false pretenses. Police spokesperson Esther Katongo says this follows investigations into a matter in which a fake Instagram account was opened in the name of the Inspector General of Police, Mr. KAKOMA KANGANJA. Ms. Katongo says investigations revealed that an Instagram account had been opened using mobile number 0972493805. The police spokesperson further revealed that the same mobile number was used to open other social media accounts on Facebook and WhatsApp in the Inspector General's names, KAKOMA KANGANJA, inviting members of the public to meet the Inspector General of Police. Various individuals and organizations were swindled of money amounting to over 43,000 kwacha between May 2020 and January 2021. And police in Pulungu District, Northern Province, are investigating a murder case reported on the 31st of January 2021 at 23 hours in which Peter Sichilima, age 35 of Sebente village, Chief Chinakala, reported that his elder brother Arnold Sichilima, aged 49 of Mutono village, and Demas Simpemba, aged 57 of the same village, were allegedly burnt to death using petrol by a mob. This occurred on the 31st of January 2021 between 22 hours and 23:50 hours at Mutono village at Kamukonda stream in Pulungu. It was reported that the 2 named deceased persons were being suspected to be wizards on allegations that they bewitched Justice Musukuma, who died a month ago at the same village. In another development, Joseph Kamulondo, aged 56 of UN village compound, Chief Mompolokoso, District Education Board Secretary Debs from Porokoso District, committed suicide after testing positive for COVID-19 on the 29th of January. He was found hanging to a window burglar bar by a nursing staff on the 1st of February 2021 at around 21 hours in the bathroom of the COVID-19 isolation house using oxygen nasal Sprongs. Zambia police spokesperson Esther Katongo gave an account of the incident.
It was reported that the two deceased persons were being suspected to be wizards on allegations that they had bewitched Justice Musukuma, who died a month ago in the same village. The deceased persons were dragged from the home of the local headman, identified as living Simpemba, where they had gone to seek refuge due to the wrangles, and then were taken to the mentioned stream, where they were set on fire using petrol. The bodies of the deceased persons are in Mbulungu Hospital mortuary awaiting post-mortem, and investigations are still underway. We appeal to members of the public in the area to help us with information that may lead to the apprehension of the suspect. Furthermore, we wish to remind members of the public that they need to desist from taking the law into their own hands, because doing so is criminal and they risk being prosecuted. He was found hanging to a window burglar bar by a nursing staff on 1st February 2021 at around 21 hours in the bathroom of the COVID-19 isolation house using oxygen nozzle prongs. The body had been taken to Mporokoso District Hospital mortuary, and police have since instituted an inquiry in the same matter.
The Lusaka City Council, LCC, has removed a suspected mentally unstable woman from the Makeni flyover bridge. Yesterday, social media was flooded with pictures of some people alleged to have turned the under bridge into their home. The pictures and comments insinuated that the newly commissioned bridge has been taken over by street kids who are spending nights there. However, an operation by state and council police today revealed that the clothes captured and posted on social media belonged to a suspected mentally unstable woman who had turned the underbridge into a home. When engaged, the woman explained that she moved from the nearby John Neng compound to take the place which she claimed was created for her by a commander. She, however, accepted to be taken back to where she came from in John Lane compound. The operation was extended to Arcades Bridge, where no culprit was found, but some street kids were spotted within the vicinity. This was contained in a statement issued to Camnet TV News by LCC Public Relations Manager George Sichimba.
Yesterday, social media was awash with pictures alleging or insinuating that the two bridges, this one which is Arcades and the McCain one, have been taken over by street kids who are spending nights here. And so this morning we mobilized as Lusaka City Council, working with state police. We started McCain, and what we discovered there is that there is a suspected mentally unstable woman who has shifted from a nearby John Lane compound and has made that place as a home. So what we did was that we talked to this woman and agreed that she can be taken back to where she came from. And our council police officers and state police managed to take the woman back. And so we extended the operation to Arcades Flyover Bridge, where we are now, and found a few street kids hovering around. And so as Lusaka City Council, we are not going to allow a situation where these beautiful structures will be taken over by street. So what we have put in place measures such as regular patrols by our Lusaka City Council police. So once in a while they will be patrolling to make sure that no one is turning these places into homes.
Zambia has in the last 24 hours recorded 14 COVID-19 deaths. The latest deaths brings the total number of deaths since the pandemic broke out in Zambia to 794. The country has further recorded 1,191 COVID-19 positive cases in the last 24 hours out of 8,355 tests done. And on the positive side, 302 recoveries have been recorded. This is according to the statistics obtained from the Ministry of Health. Still in the news, Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Minister Raphael Nakachinda says government values the support from cooperating partners in bettering the livelihood of Zambians. Speaking during a virtual courtesy call meeting held this morning with UNICEF country representative Noala Skinner, the minister notes that cooperating partners play a key role in the fulfillment of government's agenda. Mr. Nakachinda says the support by UNICEF will greatly contribute to the attainment of the universal access to clean and safe water and adequate sanitation services in line with various targets such as the Vision 2030 and 7th National Development Plan. He notes that 35 million United States dollar projects being supported in the country by UNICEF since 2016 will greatly help bettering the lives of Zambians. Mr. Nakachinda says the support has resulted in over 600,000 people gaining access to improved drinking water, 1.3 million people benefiting in good sanitation projects, among other positives. And UNICEF country representative Noala Skinner says her organization is proud to partnering with Zambia in various sectors of development.
This is a significant impact really that we are making in the lives of our people, and we continue to appreciate your support. And the refugee response benefiting over 45,000 people. Number 4, provision of water treatment, chemicals to 11 CUSs, over $2.4 million benefiting over 6.3 million people. So allow me to reaffirm government's commitment towards the implementation of the ongoing water supply and sanitation projects across the country. Government under the leadership of His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwanungu remains committed to the attainment of universal access to clean and safe water, as well as adequate sanitation. His Excellency the President has been emphasizing the aspect of sanitation because for a long time as a country we're basically emphasizing only the provision of clean water. But I think there is an emphasis that these two must go together if at all we're going to really guarantee human development. Considering the critical role that the provision of clean and safe water, adequate sanitation services play in enhancing human development, the government through the Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection will endeavor to utilize resources from our cooperating partners like yourselves with transparency, and this I think I must emphasize. I would love that our interaction and cooperation with you is anchored on transparency and accountability.
Energy Minister Matthew Nkua has reaffirmed government's stance of not increasing the fuel pump price due to the measures put in place as zero rating the value-added tax on petrol and diesel. The Energy Minister told Parliament Tuesday that the rise in international oil prices as well as the depreciation of the kwacha is bound to cause the local pump price of fuel to go up, hence government putting up such measures. Mr. Nkua says given the prevailing economic conditions and following consultations with various stakeholders, increasing the fuel pump price would, however, lead to multiple effects that would see prices of many goods and services increase in the country. However, the minister says Ndeni refinery has been shut down since the 12th of December 2020 and says he is confident that once the revolving facility using a letter of credit is concluded, Ndeni refinery will be operational soon.
I did indicate in my statement, Mr. Speaker, that we are in COVID times, and the situation is so bad on the ground that people cannot afford a price increase. It is as a result of the situation that we are in that we have to take care of the Zambian people, make sure that we don't increase the fuel price, because increasing the fuel price, Mr. Speaker, would have meant to say that everything else was going to go up. We had to give the Zambian people a break, Mr. Speaker. As the dollar is at 21.15 way today, and the price of crude oil is where it is, about $53 per barrel, the price will not be adjusted. But I cannot stand here and say that this price is going to be there in perpetuity. When certain things happen, adjustments will be made if we've got no room that we can move. But as for now, the situation is that there's not going to be a price adjustment.
Young African Leaders Initiative Governance, YALI, has urged political parties to ensure free and fair intra-party polls ahead of the August 12, 2021 general elections. YALI Governance Advisor Isaac Mwanza says political parties have to demonstrate commitment in upholding democratic tenets by allowing people to vie for positions of their choice. He says both the ruling Patriotic Front and opposition political parties must refrain from imposing candidates on the people. And Foundation for Democratic Process FODEP Executive Director George Chimembe says the trend of declaring sole candidate must not be entertained. More in this report.
Democracy, which goes by the definition, government of the people, by the people, for the people, demands an inclusive and participatory approach to governance. Certainly, elections are a good parameter to measure democracy, as people take part in choosing their leaders to represent them at various levels. As leaders seek to be elected, it is also a requirement that they are subjected to internal elections. However, this is one component various political parties have failed to do in the past, as most of the political groupings claim to have sole candidates, especially for the top position. This time around, the opposition, United Party for National Development, UPND, has led the way in subjecting its leader, Hakainde Hichilema, to an open election at a convention to be held on the 14th of February 2021. Although it looks like it is a formality as he enjoys majority support, the ruling PF is also expected to hold internal elections with President Edgar Lungu so far unopposed for the top position, and we are yet to see what would happen to presidential aspirants like KBF. Young African Leaders Initiative Governance Advisor Isaac Mwanza has reminded all political parties to ensure that they hold free and fair intra-party elections.
So when you are running a campaign, there's no problem with appointment of the people. But when it comes to internal democracy, political parties, they must practice internal democracy before you even talk about national democracy. So we call upon all the political parties. Let us ensure that we renew the mandate that we have in the people. Let us follow the footsteps that others have done in holding their conventions. And we want to commend some of them, including the UPND, the PF. They've been holding a party conventions at a local level. But now we want this to go to the main convention where the competitors must be free to compete. Anybody must be free to challenge one another. That is what we're expecting. So there should be no sacred cows in terms of holding this position, to say this position is only for this person because they are the biggest financiers of the party or they are the best mobilizers. Let the people in the political parties decide.
George Chimembe is Foundation for Democratic Process Executive Director.
Lower level, they are trying to pride themselves on the fact that they are promoting intra-party elections. We've seen the SG, going out bragging that in the PF there is, intra-party democracy. But when it comes to certain positions, like the position of the president, we've seen that the party has vehemently precluded some potential leaders from contesting, from challenging the incumbent, And in the end, we've now, of late, we've been treated to that song of "So Candidate."
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Kabushi aspiring Member of Parliament Mwila Bala has demanded a proper accountability and transparency to the recently announced Kapalala market funds which were released by government. Mr. Bala states that the area Member of Parliament Bowman Lusambo told the people of Kabushi that government has released 13 million kwacha to construct the ultra-modern market development which has not yet materialized. He pointed out the people of Kabushi deserve to know how much money has been spent on the shelters which have been raised at the Central Business District by other cooperating partners. Bala has since challenged the area Member of Parliament to state what he has done for the electorates. He further notes that the people in Kabushi have not been empowered by their MP apart from throwing money on the road.
I'm recommending the President, His Excellency Edgar Chagwalungu, for the job well done, and congratulating the new appointed permanent secretaries to say, congratulations people, and make sure you deliver and bring excellency to the Zambian people. People of Zambia, His Excellency has started doing his recommended job, and we are really appreciating as citizens for the job he's doing, the way he has done it to the Minister of Health. We are appealing to you, Mr. President, that it shouldn't just end in Lusaka. Make sure that it goes around Zambia in all provinces. Clean up all the offices that are stinking corruption, so that as we go towards the 2021 election, people should restore their confidence in you, His Excellency, the President. Because these are the same people who are making you look like you're doing nothing, and yet you are trying everything possible to make sure that the Zambian people are better off. Mr. President, I would wish to recommend you and say, Your Excellency, the jobs you are executing are recommended to the Zambian people. And the newly appointed permanent secretaries, I would wish to urge you to say, execute your duties and deliver to the Zambian people. Don't disappoint the President for the new appointments. We would want to restore confidence in the Zambian people as we go towards the 2021 elections. Mr. President, the people of Zambia, they can restore their confidence in you just like the way they did in 2016 if all these people that you are appointing delivers accordingly.
The opposition United Party for National Development has noted with concern several incidences involving officials from the ruling party carrying and flaunting huge sacks of cash in public while others are showing off huge properties and mansions. UPND Deputy Secretary General Patrick Mcheleka observes with sadness that this is happening at a time when the large majority citizens are heavily distressed by the collapsed economy. Mr. Mcheleka believes there is something wrong with people keeping huge sums of money in their homes instead of the banking system, as that distorts financial markets. He has since called on law enforcement agencies such as the Drug Enforcement Commission (DEC) and Anti-Corruption Commission (ACC) to investigate where some PF officials are suddenly getting money for dishing out in public.
Is being kept in homes whose source cannot be clearly understood or known by those who are even keeping that money. It distorts the financial markets, and this is why you see inflation coming in. We need to seriously follow up these matters and cause these people to account for their wealth in the midst of all these scandals that have been unearthed, such as the honeybee scandal, which is basically genocide, our people being killed silently because of having consumed defective medicines, defective medical supplies having been used by our people, leading to most of them to their early graves in the midst of even this pandemic of COVID. We are also faced with our people having consumed defective medicines. Very sad. Something has to be done.
The opposition Patriots for Economic Progress (PEP) is disappointed with the position taken by the Electoral Commission of Zambia (ECZ) that the new voters register will not be subjected to an audit and verification because it is new. PEP President Sean Tembo says it must be noted that the purpose of an audit and verification of a voters register is to confirm that everyone who registered was captured on the register and ensure that only eligible persons were captured. Mr. Tembo explains that an audit and verification of the voters register is a key part of the electoral process which cannot be skipped regardless of whether the voters register is new or old. The opposition leader states the position by ECZ of refusing to allow an audit and verification of the voters register is a recipe for electoral disputes after the elections. Mr. Tembo says they have officially written to the Electoral Commission of Zambia (ECZ) demanding that it allows the audit and verification of the voters register to take place.
We are very disappointed with the position taken by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, whereby they have refused to undertake an audit and verification of the voters register on account that it is a new register and therefore does not need to be audited or verified. Our position is that the need for audit and verification of a voters register is so as to ensure credibility that only persons who are eligible are appearing on the register and that everybody who registered is actually captured. And so it does not matter whether it's a new register or an old register, it simply needs to be audited and verified. And so we have taken the position to officially write to ECZ and to demand that they proceed with the undertaking an audit and verification of the voters register. And they need to comply with our demands within a period of 14 days. Failure to which we shall consider seeking legal redress to ensure that ECZ is compelled to actually undertake an audit and verification of the voters register. Although we are hopeful that they will comply and ensure that reason and sense prevails in this particular matter.
We now take our first set of commercials. Do stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
We all miss the days we would play outside, go to school, and visit fun places. But now, we all have to take care to prevent the coronavirus. Viruses are really tiny particles that we can't see with just our eyes, so we need to keep ourselves safe by practicing good hygiene, such as washing our hands with soap and clean water regularly. We can also use hand sanitizer to keep our hands clean. It's also important for us to keep our bodies and surroundings clean. We must also avoid handshakes, hugs, and standing close to other people in public places. This is called social distancing. The coronavirus has affected millions of people around the world, so we need to stay safe. In the meantime, we can keep ourselves busy by reading a book, watching TV, and doing some schoolwork. There's so much we can do indoors. Stay safe, stay home, and prevent COVID-19. We're all in this together.
This advert is sponsored by the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
Msika, allowing your business to grow.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. 3 juvenile offenders and 1 adult accused of murdering a grade 12 pupil have appeared before the Lusaka Magistrate Court for explanation of the charge. Elvis Sokolo, 20, is jointly charged with 3 juvenile offenders aged between 16 and 18 years. The quartet are facing 1 count of murder contrary to Section 200 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia. Particulars of the offense in this matter allege that the quartet on the 4th of December 2020 killed Ryan Perry, who was a pupil at KABULONGA Boys Secondary School. More in this report.
My brother is a person who is not, let me say, he's not a drunkard person. He doesn't smoke. He has a good reputation from the schools that he has been. Starting from primary school where he was, basic school where he was, secondary school where he was, the teachers can testify.
A relative of one of the juvenile offenders accused of killing Ryan Perry last year using a golf club stick. He opted to remain anonymous but expressed serious concern over police delay in handling the case.
My disappointment and the displeasure on the case that involves 4 suspected boys from Twimpam Secondary School, which one of them happened to be my brother. The case has taken too long, but these boys are now in a police custody for about, it's now almost 2 months now, without being taken to the courts of law. So as a brother and as a family member to one of them, I'm very tired and I need help from higher officers.
Now, after being in incarceration for almost 2 months without being taken to court, the 3 juvenile offenders and an adult accused of murdering 17-year-old Ryan Perry using a golf club stick made their appearance before court on Tuesday morning for explanation of the murder charge. The suspects who appeared before Magistrate Sungechanda in company of their parents were informed to appear on the 16th of February 2021 for their mention and possible committal, as the offence they have been slapped with is only tried by the High Court. The suspects are aged between 16 and 20 years old, all believed to have completed their school last year at Twin Palm Secondary School. The four are facing one count of murder, contrary to Section 200 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia. Perry was alleged to have been attacked and beaten by a group of pupils from Twin Palm Secondary School and later died at the University Teaching Hospital. However, the reason for the fight is yet known. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Lusaka Magistrate Sungechanda has set the 15th of February 2021 as the date for continued trial in a case in which a former Zambian Air Force ZAF commander, Eric Chimense, is charged with abuse of authority of office and money laundering after she was informed that the accused tested positive to COVID-19. When the matter came before court for trial, only his co-accused, James Chungu, appeared. This is in a matter in which the former Zambia Air Force ZAF commander Eric Chimense and Chita Lodge Limited Director James Chungu are charged with the abuse of authority of office and money laundering relating to properties in Ibex Hill and Lilai area in Lusaka. And in the previous sitting, it was revealed that Eric Chimense's salaries, pension benefits and travel benefits stood at 11.7 million for the period 2011 to 2018. Moving on in the news, a Lusaka resident has sued the Attorney General in the Lusaka High Court for illegal detention. Stacey Jones, who is the best friend to NDC leader Chishimba Kambwili's daughter Chanda Kambwili, wants the court to intervene in the illegal detention. In the writ for habeas corpus filed in court, Ms. Jones is asking the state to release her because no charges have been made against her. Ms. Jones says on the 26th of January 2021, she was picked up in Dola by police officers from Chilenje police station and taken to Lusaka, where she was detained in custody at Geoffrey Mianda police post. She says the police detained her on the basis that they were carrying out investigations into the alleged theft of monies in the sum of 160,000 United States dollars, which occurred at the home of Chishimba Kambwili around December. Ms. Jones says she has been held at the police station for more than 6 days without being officially charged with any offense relating to theft. She adds that police have continued to interrogate her without specific charges, and during the questioning, the police are harming her physically by abusing her and slapping her with force in the hopes of coercing her into confessing the alleged theft. She says there is no justification for her continued detention as it is unlawful and unconstitutional. And still in the news, Zambian Breweries PLC has reaffirmed its commitment to steer the commercialization of cassava through the production of Igor Lager. Last year, in order to boost Igor Lager production, Zambian Breweries PLC bought 3.5 million kilograms of cassava worth 5 million kwacha from local farmers in various provinces. Among the districts that benefited include Luapula, Northern and Muchinga provinces. Zambian Breweries Corporate Affairs Director Ezekiel Osekele says Zambian Breweries remains resolute towards promoting cassava value addition with the view of safeguarding the plight of farmers in the country. Mr. Sekele tells Camnet News that in the spirit of ensuring economic diversification, job creation, and setting new grounds for agriculture sustainability for the nation remains their priority.
Pioneered this initiative of saying, don't throw cassava. We can come and buy cassava and add value to cassava. And right now we're talking about commercialization of cassava. Not only Zambian Breweries is talking about commercialization of cassava, but we have a number of other players who are now tapping into Luapula province. And for us as Zambian Breweries, that has encouraged us, excited us, made us happy, because we believe that once you start an idea that you believe in so passionately, and a number of other people tap into, the community benefits. So with that, we are happy, and we thank God for giving us land, water, the wonderful people who are hardworking. And for us as a private sector, we are doing that which God has given us. Go there, create a better world for all, doing a good job for the rest of mankind, and helping them, to create some incomes for themselves, for their children, take their children to school, and that which is produced from that raw material. Again, we are so clear, so honest about it. Moderation, responsible consumption. So cassava, we're talking about 8,000 direct, indirect beneficiaries. We're talking about a number of aggregators having been, set up in Luapula, northern and Muchinga provinces of our country. We're talking about direct, actually 6,000, over just 6,000 small-scale farmers that have been put on this program. So the cassava initiative is doing very, very well. On
The Bloggers Association of Zambia Chief Executive Officer Richard Bulonga has called for increased cyber security education and awareness in order to enhance the safety and security standards of citizens on the internet. Mr. Mulonga says the call comes in the wake of the approval of the Cyber Security and Cyber Crimes Bill of 2021 by Cabinet. He explains that there are many challenges on the internet that require adequate legislation to make the online space is safe and secure for all. Mr. Mulonga reiterates that the internet has become an important resource for the realization of democracy.
These internet laws and policies have been used to infringe on the digital rights of citizens by, for example, shutting down the internet during protests and other events such as an election. We are also making this clarion call ahead of our elections, when the internet will be a very influential resource for the contestation of power, for campaigning, and basically the battle for democracy. But when properly implemented, cyber security laws have the potential to enhance digital access and also improve on the digital transformation that Zambia is experiencing. During our participation in two of the government's internal legislation processes to review the Cyber Security and Cyber Crimes Bill, we shared our position that the online spaces must be safe and secure for all. We also shared our position with the stakeholders from the government that there was need for internet laws and policies to be democratic. They must be specific rather than vague, and we expect this to enhance online rights and freedoms rather than to use the laws to silence citizen voices on the internet. We would like to reiterate that we admit that there are challenges on the internet, but even if we have all these problems, such as misinformation on the internet, we require adequate legislation to make the online spaces safe and secure for all, especially for children, women, and girls.
The charity Chanda Lumpa Foundation Executive Director Charity Lumpa has urged the clergy in the country to take up entrepreneurship to generate resources for themselves. Mrs. Lumpa says Christian ministers must not only wait for alms from their members but think of other avenues to generate wealth. She says the church is an important body full of skills that can be utilized for the development of the nation. Ms. Lumpa was speaking during a meeting with the clergy in Lusaka Tuesday, and partners in Mention Workers President Reverend Sengi Changa says the church is meant to be an example of the body of Christ that is willing to sacrifice for one another and remain united. Details in this report.
COVID-19 has negatively impacted all sectors of the economy, and the ministers of the gospel have not been spared from the impact of the pandemic. While government has released several COVID-19 relief packages, several sectors have not yet benefited from any relief, and such one sector is the ministers of the gospel. While Zambia remains a Christian nation, the gospel of Christ must continue to be preached. However, many churches have collapsed due to the impact of the pandemic, and the Zambian Mission Network is calling on government to consider the sector.
The schools, the churches have died because they don't allow them back. And the ministers now, there are some of them who used to get something from the offering and the tithing. Now they don't even have it. so that is a problem. That is a problem. Your guest of honor, you mentioned that the president was supposed to be here and that at the right time we are going to have another meeting. We are requesting that is the situation on the ground. We believe that all the churches, the big churches that are there, they started in a home and in a classroom,
The clergy has also tasked other ministers of the gospel to think of other avenues of generating income.
Ministers of the gospel, they're not just there to preach, but they are also supposed to learn how to make their own money. Not just waiting on offering and tithing, no, but also to be involved in business and other things that can promote the work of God.
And partners in mission work, President Reverend Seji Changa says the church should lead by example and build each other as opposed to bringing each other down.
You are retired. Even when before your retirement, shelters is a problem. Rentals is a problem. We are being neglected, rejected. Hallelujah. Someone have to knock in the morning 05. Hallelujah. Because you have to. We say, how are we going to address these issues? We start now putting something to start building shelters for the clergy.
And Charity Chanda Lumpa Foundation Executive Director Charity Lumpa has urged the clergy, among other things, to take up entrepreneurship, utilize the internet, support the government of the day, protect the environment, embrace civility and humility.
There are many talents that are within the church and the opportunities they present to help the church make money. Who are your members? What are they doing in the church? What habits, hobbies do you have that can generate revenue? The scriptures tell us, start with what is in your hand. When you start with what is in your hand, it will then grow to the next thing and the next thing. Is our mind focused on making the church profitable? Are we just waiting for offerings, for alms, for tithes? And yet we have such great gifts in the church that you could easily start a catering business. You can easily start a production unit, rear chickens, start a construction company, because there are so many skills in the church that we can use.
Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
As the world commemorates Wetlands Day, the Worldwide Fund for Nature has called on government to prioritize the restoration of Lukanga and Kafue wetlands. This year's World Wetlands Day theme, Wetlands and Water, draws attention to the role that wetlands play in providing fresh water. WWF Country Director Nachilala Nkombo says maintaining wetlands will make Zambia a water-secure country and help build resilience to climate change impacts. She observes that from recent scientific studies that over the last few decades, wetlands have come under tremendous pressure, leading to some of them shrinking in size, specifically the Lukanga swamps and Kafue flats. Available information shows that the Lukanga swamps over the last 20 years have reduced in size and experienced significant degradation rates and adjacent forests and wetlands areas. And Ms. Nkombo has recommended the identification of alternative models for the management of wetland ecosystems more effectively, including exploring public-private partnership models.
Play a very critical role in terms of the provision of critical services that support the economy, support the population, support wildlife and bird life. However, in Zambia, we have faced serious degradation of some of our critical wetlands, such as the Kafue floods and the Lukanga swamps. So as we commemorate World Wetlands Day today, we call upon the government to prioritize a number of key actions to secure the protection of wetlands and key water bodies in Zambia. In particular, we are calling upon the government to accelerate efforts to restore the Lukanga and Kafue wetlands and their major tributaries as they support livelihoods and the larger economy. We call upon the government to revise regulations that govern the exploitation of forest resources around water sources. We also call upon government to accelerate the implementation of the roadmap through the Ministry of Water Development around the gazetting and protection of water resources.
We take our second set of commercials. To stay with us as we have international and sports news. Don't go away.
To create a positive difference in people's lives, one must first understand the way people live. At Savenda, we're here for our community, our partners, and our future as a nation and as a continent.
Back in 1997, we decided we were going to create this family journey into a bigger opportunity, and created a business called Savenda, which meant save nations to develop Africa.
It's always important to give back to the people. The government cannot do everything, but as business entities, we'll be able to reach a lot of people.
From our humble beginnings in the telecoms and mining sectors to our work in energy and development projects, we know how important it is to be true to our roots.
Our services have to be diversified so that we don't depend on one income stream. Back in the village, I was growing up hunting and doing everything that a village boy would like to do. When you're hunting, you don't depend on one trap, for example. You have to have many traps. So those survival skills brought into the business created opportunities that we learned from a young age that you can't survive with just one product. Savenda Group involves Savenda Management, which is a consulting, Savenda Express, which is a corporate branding company, Savenda Electric, which is a manufacturer of energy-saving bulbs, Savenda General Insurance, which is a general insurance company, Savenda Fresh Produce, Cyber Africa, which is a center for just dealing with cyber security.
Now, Savenda is combining local knowledge with international expertise. It's time to be a part of Zambia's rising success and Africa's exciting future.
We are a gateway into Africa, and now we are praying with global companies who are coming to Zambia for opportunities and to look for companies that are homegrown. And we are proud to be one of those.
"2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television. For non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage, Zambia needs Camnet television. For national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia, watch Camnet TV. on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on GoTV, and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. In international news, the UN's High Commissioner for Refugees has called on the Ethiopian government to do more to protect civilians trying to escape fighting in the Tigray region. UNHCR says up to 20,000 people have fled the violence after alleged Eritrean and Ethiopian forces hunted former Tigray leaders down. In other news, US President Joe Biden is putting in place a plan for some undocumented migrants in the US to eventually become citizens, in a reversal of the policies of his predecessor Donald Trump. But many asylum seekers stuck in Mexico are still awaiting their fate. Migrant advocates have slammed the Remain in Mexico policy, which they say exposed thousands of migrants, including children, to threats of exploitation, kidnapping, and sexual assault in border cities controlled by drug cartels. Al Jazeera has more.
People arriving at My Aini refugee camp say they trekked for a day to reach here with only leaves to eat. But things got worse at the camp. This man didn't want to be identified.
There is no any safety here.
How can I feel safe here? There's no safety here, because they are also here. There are many militias around the camp, all around the camp. If someone leaves the camp, they're there, and they kill them. They kill us.
The UN Refugee Agency chief visited the camp recently. People told him who they blame for the attacks.
They also spoke of infiltration of armed actors in the camps, of killings, abductions, and also some forced return to Eritrea at the hands of Eritrean forces present in the areas.
It's been widely reported that forces from neighboring Eritrea have been cooperating with the Ethiopian military to pursue fugitive leaders of the Tigray forces. But Ethiopia's government denies the presence of foreign fighters, even after declaring victory against Tigray forces in November. People caught up in the violence say locals living around the camp are punishing them for the war.
There are ladies.
There are ladies who are raped by local people due to this war, because they believe that our soldiers killed their brothers. They believe that, so they are raping our sisters, mothers, and they are killing our brothers.
UNHCR says up to 20,000 people are trying to escape revenge attacks. The refugee agency wants the Ethiopian government to give them access to the areas where they're hiding so they can be helped.
Joe Biden had said things would change on the very first day of his presidency for the thousands in the same position as Xiomara Martinez. She's from Cuba and crossed 9 countries to ask for asylum in the United States. But under a program begun 2 years ago by ex-President Donald Trump, she was put back to wait in Mexico between her court hearings. She's spent 2 years now waiting in Ciudad Juárez for a decision.
It's quite dangerous because we're on the border. We're not from here, and danger is present all the time. So we put our hope in President Biden and everything he promised in his campaign. We hope he sticks to his promises.
What Joe Biden promised was to end the program called Remain in Mexico, which has seen more than 60,000 asylum seekers put across the border from the US while they wait between court dates. Many were placed into gang-ridden cities like Juárez or Matamoros, where this tent camp sprung up. He hasn't done that yet. What he has done is to stop enrolling any new asylum seekers in the program. But the numbers of those sent back were already going down before his term anyway. The real question is what will happen to the thousands already stuck in Mexico. Will they be now allowed into the US while their process plays out? Jose Luis Alvarado, a Nicaraguan nurse who fled the autocratic rule of Daniel Ortega, is fervently hoping so. He's been stuck in Mexico for 2 years, struggling to provide for his expanding family without a work visa.
What happens is that Mexico isn't going to give work to an immigrant because it has many unemployed here. If you go to a factory, the first thing they ask you is, are you an immigrant? Do you have legal status? If you don't have a permit, they don't give you a job.
I will introduce an immigration bill.
President Biden's already planning a path to citizenship for millions of undocumented migrants who are already in the US. He said he'll be more open to asylum seekers too. The tricky part for him and his team will be doing that without sparking a rush on the border. Stuck in the middle of that difficult calculation are those in limbo in Mexico.
We now get into sports news. The English Football League EFL has confirmed that 19 positive cases have been recorded in the latest round of coronavirus testing. It represents a fourth since last week, where the EFL reported that 26 individuals returned a positive swab, and a rapid decrease since the start of January, when 123 players and club staff across the Championship, League 1 and League 2 tested positive for the virus. Results revealed on Monday for the Premier League indicated that there had also been a drop in cases. Players or club staff who had tested positive will self-isolate for a period of 10 days in line with the latest government guidance. A statement from the league read, the EFL can confirm that a total of 5,448 players and club staff from all 72 EFL clubs were tested as part of the latest week's testing program, with 19 positive cases returned. The Premier League, along with the Football Association and the English Football Club, released a joint statement reiterating the importance of following newly enhanced COVID-19 measures in January. That sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. 19-year-old fake KAKOMA KANGANJA nabbed. COVID-19 continues to claim lives as the country records 14 COVID deaths in 24 hours. 3 juveniles accused of killing a KABULONGA boy's pupil appear in court. And in international news, 20,000 Ethiopian refugees missing in Tigray, UN reports. And in sports news, the English Football League records 4 in positive COVID-19 cases in the latest round of testing. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from the book of Galatians 2 verse 20, and it reads, "And I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.